How's it going, guys? Welcome to part 19 of the GTO Trainer. First hand here, facing a cutoff open on the button with 3 deuce suited. Suited connectors are pretty much what you want to be calling with here, or even 3 betting as a bluff to balance out your 3 bets on the button, but I think 3 deuce is just a little bit too low. Not so yeah, just a little bit too low. I think we start with 4-5 suited, or 5-4 suited. So we're not even defending that wide. Well, I guess because we still have the blinds behind, I guess is the idea. But we're not really even calling that wide from the button at all. Like, very, very slim. Damn, I thought we would be... Or maybe the idea is because the cutoff has such a similar range to us, we can't be... calling as wide because we don't have like clear board coverage on these low boards, because the cutoff can still be connecting with them as well. I guess that's maybe the concept, that we can be put in a lot of these outkick situations because the cutoff is opening wider than an under the gun. So if we're able to call from the button a little bit wider, or with these more suited connector hands from the button when we're facing an under the gun open, because we would be hitting 2 separate boards and avoid any domination situations where, because the cutoff very similar to the button, a little bit wider due to playing later, they're going to connect with a lot of boards that we're connecting with those suited connectors. So we can still run into those outkicked, dominated situations, lose big pots, thinking that you're raising for value, get value, or in situations, which makes a lot of sense. Moving on to the next hand, so under the very strong under the gun +1 open, when the low jack with 10-4 offsuit, standard snap fold, just some offsuited garbage. Once again, another one here, under the gun open, button call, got some offsuit garbage, even though that we are very priced in with a lot of 2 cards, getting fantastic pot odds, as we can see there, just 18%. We only need to put 1.5 in order to win 6.5 blinds. But just offsuit way too weak to be able to call there. But so if we can have a look here from the big blind, so we do have a decent amount of defending with a lot of suited connectors, defending with some suited aces as well, and then we're raising to isolate with a lot, and then also even some suited connectors as well we're raising with, in order to balance out our ISO betting. Our 3-bet ISOs. So folds around to the button, who opens, so very, very wide opening range there. We're going to raise it up, standard raise with ace-king offsuit. Button calls, so this absolutely slams the button's open and then calling range, open call. Because they're going to have a lot of suited connectors here, they're going to have a lot of suited cards. They're going to hit a lot of top pairs with 7s, hit a lot of middle pairs with 6s. So I reckon we check, knowing that they have, They have range advantage on this board. They put out about 1/5 bet, not enough to get us out just yet. 8, once again, hits their range very, very strong. So once again, I'm going to check. Just kind of play it. But then when they go for half pot sizing here, brings in 2 flush draws that they could have hit. Pretty much all of the cards above, so 3 cards that they could have hit as a pair. So I reckon this is a snap fold. So they're saying we should be calling a half pot there. I know, so we have nut high, okay? But if we have a look at what we're thinking their range is here, okay? They've got so many like pairs that are hitting here. Yes, we can have all of the strong overpairs that they can't have. But the reality is this hits their range so much that they know that this doesn't hit our range at all. If you have a look over the left-hand side, this doesn't hit us at all, pretty much. So they would most likely be calling off a lot of money. Be prepared to take the risk of, well, if you have an overpair here, you have an overpair here. So I just don't really see the call here. Like, if they went with another, like, 1/5 pot, something that really prices at us in, gives us the impression that, okay, we can kind of get to a cheap showdown, kind of see a cheap card, see if we can hit an ace or a king. You know, we still have about like 6 clean outs. But then, you know, when they go over half pot sizing, I don't think we got any odds there to call really with 6 out. 12% equity, realistically, because they're like, there's 3 cards there that absolutely slam their range, and also in addition they could be doing it with some pocket pairs as well, hit some sets. There's also some 2 pairs that they can hit as well here, like your 9s, 10s, probably even jacks. I believe they've also got jacks here as well. No, so not jacks, but they're 9s, 10s, 8s, 7s, 6s, you know, those are well within their open then call range, without a doubt. So I don't really understand, you know, the calling half pot there. With realistically what we're looking at is about 12% equity. You know, then they're most likely not going to have many ace highs that will be defending. Maybe the only thing, like some ace 5, ace 4 suited. So we're just not going to be good there realistically, because they would, in order to be betting that sizing as a bluff with anything they were betting for value, they're going to have something strong in terms of a high card. But they already know, because they've just called pre-flop, we know that they can't have ace queen, they can't have an ace king as well, they can't have king queen realistically, they can't have any strong aces, ace jacks out of there as well. There's just not a lot of strong aces or strong high cards with a good kicker that they would think that they can raise with value. And if they're bluffing, you kind of got to go, well, good bluff. If you're going to bluff with pure air, then I'm perfectly fine that you bluffed with pure air. Okay, you know, if you're prepared to take that risk, I'm fully prepared to fold to you. And eventually the hope is that it's just going to blow up in their face, hopefully. Moving on to the next hand here, under the gun +2 opens when the small line of king 10 offsuit. This is going to be a standard snap fold. King 10 offsuit, one of those hands, especially out of position, just going to be outkicked in a lot of situations, as we are here with the king queen offsuit. As we looked at before, under the gun +2, very, very tight, strong opening range. We're going to be playing out of position from the small blind with a very marginal kicker that can get us into a lot of trouble, a lot of situations where we could lose big pots, be in a bloated pot, overplay our hand, believe that we're strong with a top pair, and value own ourselves. So these like hands that are very susceptible to mistakes should be avoided at all costs. So folds all the way around to the small blind who opens. We've got queen deuce offsuit, standard offsuit garbage that you just snap fold to pretty much anything. In under the gun +1, facing a very, very tight, strong under the gun raise. This is going to be a standard snap fold. Under the gun tightest range, so you got to act with a range that can play up against that. Once again, under the gun +1, very, very tight range open. We got jack 8 suited. This is just going to be a standard snap fold. Outkicked in a lot of situations. Yes, we are suited, which adds a little bit of equity there. But just going to be one of those hands, just not very good. Especially with 4 players behind and facing a very, very tight, strong range. Same range against under the gun +2, this time the big blind with some beautiful offsuit garbage that we pretty much snap fold to anyone. Here's a little situation here. So we raise on the button with 10-8 suited, standard raise from us, with the blinds behind. So we have a very, very wide range here, very, very wide opening range. Big blind then 3 bets. I reckon this is a standard candidate for a call. You know, suited gapper, maybe we would much rather a suited connector, given that the big blind's going to have a decently strong range here, as they're only really going to be something I probably should have considered in terms of they're most likely going to be raising with a very, very strong hand here, because they'll be incentivized with a lot of their marginal hands to just call, keep the pot nice and small and manageable, rather than bloating it up out of position, especially that they know that they're already heads up, so they don't have to isolate anyone. So with their more marginal hands that would be playing well against, they should be just calling, take a flop, play defense out of position, keep the pot nice and small, avoid bloating the pot, ending up playing a very big pot, heads up out of position. So they check. This board absolutely slams our range. So I kind of like a 1/5 sizing here. Take advantage of the fact that we got range advantage here, but then when they go a 5x, kind of just under pot, that can be just a snap fold. So they have no solutions for the post-flop play, but I reckon that's a pretty standard play in my opinion. You know, they check. We have far more nut and range advantage on a 6-5-5. Maybe we would much rather a little bit of a some sort of back doors potentially. But we hit this board far more than they do. The only really thing that they have here is obviously some strong ace highs or some over pairs, as we can see over in their range here. So yeah, so some strong ace high. They even have some weak ace highs as well here. So you're telling me so that's a very far wider what's it called? Big blind raise than I thought it was originally. So that's interesting to know. So is that a standard play for them? So they should be even folding Jack 10. So how do they have Jack 10? What is this bullshit? What are we doing here? What's going on? Horrific. But yeah. So I kind of like this play if, you know, we got range advantage. See if we can get them off some ace highs. You know, take the initiative. But then when they just go just under pot, you kind of just throw away the 10 high and be pretty happy with that. So there's our 10 hands. So 10 hands, 14 moves, 80% GTO, 87%, sorry. You know, 7% for very important. 87% GTO score, so 12 best moves, 1 inaccuracy move, which was the folding the ace-king to a half-pot bet when all we have is ace-high on a board that completely slams the button. Was it a button defend? Yeah, we call, so button, button flat, sorry, absolutely slams that. They're going to have a pair there majority of the time. A lot of their combos hit that. Okay, and then one wrong move from, what was it? Calling pre-flop with the 10-8 offsuit. I'm assuming we only should be calling there. If we have a look here, go to info, go to strategy, show this one. Yeah, so you should only really be calling here with like some suited we're even folding the suited connectors. What? Crazy stuff. Oh no, that's later on. Hang on, let's go. Okay. So we're only really in there with this real suited connectors, no suited gappers, no suited 2 gappers. Makes sense, I guess. You know, need that little bit of extra equity against what's going to be a very strong big blind range. Does that make sense? If we're gonna look here, so yeah. Oh, that's all gone. Oh, because I closed the tab. That makes sense. But yeah, hope you guys learned something today. Have a good one. Take care, and play well, guys.